break down the work, how you approached it. Obviously you have the brand, the brand musts, but it seemed like you had a lot of latitude to play here. So just, I'm going to leave it open to you and just the parts that you want to talk about breaking this work down.
Sure. Yeah, I'll start. I mean, the very first year we launched Unapologetically Human, it was this maybe simpler, broader observation that these products all play an integral role in our lives, and actually a really vulnerable role. Like we all use them at these, when our noses are bleeding, or we're sneezing, or when we're going to the bathroom, or when we've made a giant mess of something and we need to clean it up. So we launched that spot a couple of years ago, but then following that, we were like, how do you continue a narrative like that? So the biggest problem was figuring out how to keep telling the story of the important roles, the authentic roles this product plays in our lives, but tell it in an emotional way that viewers can actually connect with. And one of the things we did really quickly with Jay right after the launch was to sort of analyze, could we break this up into different chapters of life? And we actually wrote a whole bunch of scripts that were different sort of through lines of life that we thought people could relate to. And love became one that rose to the top quite quickly because of its, it doesn't matter sometimes if you're 6 years old, you've experienced love sometimes, as we start the spot with young kids sort of falling in love. But yeah, some of the challenges were, definitely how far can we go, from love to hate to, happiness and sadness, because we wanted to explore it all in its most authentic way. And then it actually just started as the extremities of love. And then it was Mark Zebert, the director, who was like, let's do it from beginning to end. Like, let's start young and let's end old. He thought that could be really beautiful. And then it was sort of the editor that even brings back that last scene. He's like, let's return to the beginning, where love just starts, has that first spark for it. But yeah, it's a lot, because everyone hates when I do this. Both spots are product demos, basically.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's hidden in this emotional journey that we kind of trap you in, or invite you into, I guess.
Well,
yeah,
so I go back to Wyden Kennedy. There's a spot years ago called Frozen Moment.
Mm-hmm.
That's that for Jordan. And that's what you just said. It's product demonstration, because it's the shoe shows up for 4 seconds, 5 seconds, but it's how it got to that point that makes it truly interesting and impactful. Yeah. So Jay, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think, Todd touched on it. When we launched the first kind of iteration in Unapologetically Human, it was at the beginning of the pandemic, and people were hoarding toilet paper. If you remember, it was kind of a scene. And, we had this kind of weird task of trying to bring together 3 different product categories, and within the paper category, plus communicate a corporate brand that hadn't been communicated before. And I think as we explored it, we realized something, which was, the collective experience of these paper products wasn't that we were in it together. In fact, people were kind of taking from each other at that moment. But what was true of everybody was we were in this collective moment of vulnerability. And what's really cool about that is, these products are all in service of that vulnerability. And, as we looked forward to this iteration of it and the idea of love, there's nothing kind of more kind of universally vulnerable than love. And I think if you look back on the pandemic, some of the divorce rates, and certainly I'm sure the rates of visiting marriage counselors during and after the pandemic was pretty significantly higher than it was pre. Mm-hmm. And so everybody had their own unique experience of kind of love in a moment of isolation, but then coming out of that moment of isolation as well, as Extra did a good job of showing us. And so it was just something that just felt so timely and kind of this kind of cultural moment that everybody shared. And so it was just a really kind of a beautiful homage to that experience as well. And so it was kind of cool that we were able to connect it back to the beginning of the pandemic, to an experience we were all having post-pandemic.